This is interview number 1. Can you tell me how you feel about your current English classroom? A little bit about it. Do you like it?
Not really. It's really boring. We don't get to learn anything we want to learn.
Okay. Did you read any books you wanted to read this year?
No.
No?
No.
None?
None.
What was your least favorite?
Probably A Separate Piece.
Who's that by?
I
You don't know?
No.
Okay. Was there any that had parts you liked?
I like Tuesdays with Maury a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you like some of the stuff you do in your English class?
Not really. We kind of just read books that we don't want to read and review for the exams. That's really all we do.
Yeah. You do any activities?
Every once in a while we watch a movie, but that's about it.
Okay. Does your teacher seem interested in it?
Yeah, I like my teacher. She has to follow the guidelines, so she can't do what she wants to do.
Oh no, she went
Okay.
to the litter box this time. I can't figure her out.
Anyway, so for the first question, you said that you you would choose to have desks in groups as opposed to rows, pairs, or a large circle or square. Could you elaborate as why you chose to do desks in groups? And also, would you still want it that way if seating was assigned seating?
I like it because you get to be around more people, and
Would you still want it if it was assigned seating?
yeah, because
Yeah.
being next to like 3 different people is better than just being next to one person. Like, say you don't like that one person,
Yeah.
you're just kind of stuck with them.
Okay. You wouldn't want it in a large circle or square?
No.
No. Okay. Do you like group work?
Yeah, I like group work.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to interact with everyone instead of just yourself and only one person.
Do you think most people like group work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think most people like group work.
Okay. Do you do a lot of group work in English now?
Not really.
No.
No.
Do you have any like whole class discussions or anything like that?
Not really. Just like while we're reading the books, like.
You'll talk about what
Yeah.
comes up and stuff?
Yeah.
But not, okay. Did you guys ever talk about like what interests you in the book or just like what comes up?
Just what comes up, really.
Okay. Okay, for the second section, you said you wish English class included more things that you had a personal connection to.
Mm-hmm.
You said you'd like the class to use more music that you like, your hobbies and interests, your memories, your future, and your values and beliefs. Can you talk about why you mark those things on the checklist?
I mark those things because they're particularly my interests, and I feel that if we learned about some of my interests, then I would be more involved in the class and be more interested.
Okay. Sure. Alright. Do you think you'd be able to share stuff about yourself in the classroom? Like, would it be awkward sharing stuff about yourself? Do you think you'd be okay with it? Do you think the class would be more engaging if everybody did that kind of stuff?
I don't really have too big of a problem about sharing, but I'd rather not. I don't know.
Okay. So, do you think it would be hard to use that stuff if you weren't open to sharing? Sorry. Well, I mean, okay, so you said you want to use music that you like, memories, your future, your values, your beliefs, but you probably have to share some of those things if you wanted to use them. Do you think that?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. You think it would just be hard to share it in front of, like, the whole class?
Yeah,
Stuff
I mean,
like that.
I can, like, I don't know, I just don't like to.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Do you think it would be interesting if other people brought that stuff in too? Not just you?
Yeah, I think it would be cool to...
See what other
Yeah.
people like and what they think about and stuff?
Yeah.
And what they're interested in? Okay. For things you wish to use more of in the class, you listed music, music lyrics, movies, images or artwork, books we had a choice in, Twitter, YouTube videos, vocabulary where you learn a new vocab word every day, and debates. Are there any on this list that you'd want to use most, and why?
Music and YouTube videos. I like YouTube videos because I'm more of a visual learner than like listening to the teacher.
Yeah, or reading.
Yeah, or reading. It doesn't really
Things
get through
connect
to
with
me
you
as
more if
easy.
you see it.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then
Do you
same
feel
thing
like
with
you
music.
remember things better if you see it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And music, you can like hear something and would you ever want to do a thing where like the teacher asks you to bring like music lyrics in, or like you talk about a topic and they say, can you think of songs or lyrics that relate to that?
I just like when teachers like find songs that relate to what we're learning.
Okay.
And because I can make better connections that way, and it just it's easy.
Okay, yeah. Take 2, since the camera decided to die in the middle of the interview. Okay, so we were talking about how you would like English class more if you use music and music lyrics and stuff. You put images or artwork. Do you just like seeing pictures and stuff?
Pictures.
Do you like seeing pictures that like make you think, and like is there like certain like sometimes you can see like photographers, they take really interesting pictures that make you like think differently.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you like comics or anything, or like graphic novels?
Not really.
No? Okay. You said Twitter. Do you use Twitter yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Do you like thinking of tweets and making them?
Yeah.
Yeah? Could you picture doing that for like characters or anything like that? No?
No.
Okay. I thought it was interesting that you said learning a new word every day. Is that something that...
Yeah, because I like to expand my vocabulary.
Okay. Do you think a lot of people like to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Do you ever use thesaurus to like, say you use a word a lot and you want to think of a different word?
Well, I have the word of the day on my phone.
Oh, you do?
And,
okay, that's cool.
It's like a widget. I can look up any word.
Oh.
Something.
Alright. If you come across and you're reading something and you come across a word you don't know, do you look it up often, or do you usually just skip?
If I can kind of understand what it's talking about, no. But if it's like a word that I kind of need to know to understand, then I'll look it up.
Okay. So for some of the topics you talked about that you're interesting, you said futuristic stuff, books about people around my age, crime solving, and music. Do you think anybody else in your classes, do you think that would interest anybody else too?
I think people want to learn or read books about people their own age because they can relate to them more.
Yeah.
And
like what's something that you read about that you felt like nobody could relate to? Can you think of anything?
The Crucible.
The Crucible? Yeah.
Yeah.
You couldn't find meaning in it? No.
No.
Did you talk about like the meaning or why it might be important?
A little bit, but not much.
Yeah, you couldn't find like your own meaning in it?
No.
Okay. So you don't like witch hunts?
No.
No. Okay. You chose crime solving, which is interesting. Do you like watching that kind of TV show and stuff?
Yeah, I like Law and Order. Any show that has like crime solving, like police, FBI, anything like that.
Yeah. And that's what you want to do after school, right?
Yeah.
So, really cool. Do you think it would be, speaking of doing stuff after school, would you want to be doing stuff in English that you feel like you might use, like making a resume or practicing maybe like an interview or anything like that, or
We did that.
or practicing a college essay?
We did that in my computer class last year, and I didn't really like it.
You didn't?
No, it was boring.
Okay. Do you think some people feel it helps them to be prepared?
I mean, I know.
Do you think it's necessary at all, or do you think that's something people should do on their own?
I know it definitely, like, it was beneficial, but I just was bored.
Okay.
Like, it helped, but I was bored.
Okay. Like a necessary evil. Yeah. Okay. So can you think of any specific websites or tools you would use? You said YouTube. So, you think YouTube helps? Have they ever used YouTube in your class?
Not in my English class, but in other subjects we use YouTube, and I think it really helps.
Yeah, depending on like what you watch and stuff.
We watch a lot in history.
Would you ever want to bring in, say there was an assignment to bring in a YouTube clip? Is that something you'd want to do?
No, more leave it up to the teacher.
Leave it up to the teacher. Okay. And then for the last question, I said, what would you consider to be your learning style or styles? And you said visual, spatial, oral, which could also be shown as auditory or musical, and then physical, kinesthetic. Why do you think those are your learning styles? And do you think that, is there any example you could give that you feel like you learn better? When you think?
Well, I like visual because, I don't know, it just seems to get stuck in my head better. In music, I can kind of relate a song, like the name of a song, to what we learned.
Okay.
So, like, if we learned something using a song, if I remember the song name and the lyrics, then it helps me remember what we learned.
So let's put it this way. If you were learning themes in books and you were talking about songs, like songs you like or songs that you know, and how they relate to the theme of the book, do you think you'd be able to remember the theme better?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you'd think of the song. And because I noticed that in the Great Gatsby soundtrack, they, some of the songs use some of the lyrics talk about the themes of Great Gatsby, and like I thought that was really cool because I'm like, how cool you can remember themes about wealth and the American dream and stuff just from listening to the song. Yeah. So, yeah, that's something that you could see being helpful. And like, say if you had a picture of a symbol or something like that, or a metaphor, that might help too. Okay, you also said physical kinesthetic. So, do you think you remember things better when you're doing something, like when you do activities? Yeah,
definitely.
Okay, so you have anything more to say about your learning style?
No.
Okay. Alright, so that's the end of the interview. After 2 camera failures, we're finally done. Woohoo. Alright.